So we'll finish up our discussion of lines from Chapter 1, Section 10 by discussing perpendicular lines. Two lines with slopes m1 and m2 are perpendicular if and only if m1 times m2 is equal to -1. That is, their slopes are negative reciprocals. So then m2 is going to be equal to -1 over m1. So there's two different ways to be able to decide if lines are perpendicular. So we're going to, and those are the two right here, we're going to show that the points P, Q, and R are the vertices of a right triangle. For the sake of time, I've already put the points on this plot and I've connected them to form the triangle so that we can decide where it is that this right angle is supposed to be happening. And we can see down here, this looks to be a 90-degree angle. So we can verify that by finding the slope of QR and the slope of PR. Once we find those slopes, what we need to show is that they're negative reciprocals. Or we can show that when we multiply them together, when we take the slope of the line that includes P and multiply it times the slope of the line that includes Q, that we get a -1. So either one of those, it will suffice for us to show either that they are negative reciprocals or that we multiply them and get -1. So basically we need to start out by finding MP and MQ. So the slope where we had the point P is going to be, so let's see P, let's look back at our graph. Sorry about that. The slope where we had P, we're going to use the point 3, 3 and 11, 5 for our 2 points. And so we'll have 3, 3 and we'll have 11, 5. And so we'll let this be x1, y1. We'll let this be x2, y2. And so our slope is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's going to be 5 minus 3 over 11 minus 3. That would give us 2 over 8, which is 1 over 4. So now we need to find the slope where we have MQ, where Q is a part of it. So the point Q is the point 8, 17. So let's let this be x1, y1, and we'll keep using R as our x2, y2. So now we're looking at these 2 points. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 using these 2 points now. So that would be 5 minus 17 over 11 minus 8, which is going to be -12 over 3, which is -4. So when we look at these two, we can see that they are negative reciprocals. And so they are negative reciprocals, so they are perpendicular lines. And so this is a right triangle. Or the alternative method was to multiply those two together rather than just looking at them and saying they're negative reciprocals. We can multiply them together. That's 1/4 times -4 is going to give us -4 over 4. Let me write that out. -4 over 4, which is -1. Therefore, when we put 3 dots like that in math, it means therefore PQR is a right triangle. On the last problem, we want to find it first. We're going to find an equation of the line that is perpendicular to the line 3x minus 2y plus 7 equals 0 and passes through the origin. So if it's perpendicular, and here's the symbol for perpendicular, you're showing a horizontal line with a vertical line coming down through it. So if two lines are perpendicular, then remember their slopes are negative reciprocals. So we need to find the slope of this one. So let's subtract 3x and we'll subtract 7 at the same time, doing that on each side of the equation. So that gives us -2y is equal to -3x minus 7. Let's divide through by -2 since our goal is to get y by itself. And so that would give us, there's a negative in front of a 2, that would give us y is equal to 3 over 2x minus 7 over 2. And so now we know the slope of this line is equal to 3 over 2. Now, yes, I could simplify that down to a decimal number, but it's going to be easier for me to see the reciprocal if I leave it as a fraction. The reciprocal of that, if we call this m1, the reciprocal m is going to be negative 2 over 3. So we want, let me move that up so you can see that. So our slope here is 3 over 2. Our reciprocal would be flipping that over and changing the sign. That's our negative reciprocal. And so our line needs to have the slope negative 2 over 3. So let's go right back to y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, the point slope form again. We don't have a point, missing a point here. So our point, remember, it's supposed to pass through the origin. The origin is the point 0, 0, so we do have a point. Our x1 and y1 are both 0, so it'll be y minus 0 is equal to, our slope is negative 2/3 times x minus 0. That's just going to be y is equal to negative 2/3 x, and we're done. And that concludes the lesson. I hope you have enjoyed it.